Hello, hello! Today I just wanted to share my current eyeshadow collection with you guys. I really love watching these videos, so I thought I'd make one as well. I keep pretty much all my eyeshadow palettes still with the box. I pretty much also started collecting the travel bags that Jeffree has to put all my makeup in. So there's a lot of these palettes that I have tried, and there's a lot of these palettes I haven't tried yet because I have so many. So I'd love to know down below which palettes caught your eye, and of the ones I haven't tried, which ones worked for you or didn't work for you. Because that's why I really like to watch these videos. I feel like I'm shopping online watching all these videos. The first one to start with would be this LA Colors Lemon Drop Eye Palette. I haven't used it yet, but I do like this brand. And like I said before in my past videos, yellow is my favorite color, so I really love these. I hope they work out well, but we shall see. So I haven't used that one yet. This is the 35A Up Till Dawn Morphe palette. I do like Morphe. This is the palette I'm currently using so far. Let's see, which color was it? I believe this one, Paradise Found. That one, I just wore this one yesterday and it was beautiful. It works so well. I don't think the camera can really pick up how pretty this palette is, like in most cases, but so far I've never had an issue with Morphe quality, except of course for the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. So far I have had no issues with this. Here's the box. Pretty much like I said, I keep the box for everything, so you'll also be watching me open these up, because I keep everything in it. I like to try and keep my palette safe as I can. I believe I've used this one. Yes, I have. This is the 35M Boss Mood. Just finished using this recently. It's great. I loved it. Again, I never have any issues with the Morphe formula. Okay, now we're going to start with my favorite Jeffree Star bag. I think it's just the bag that really started it all. I love this mint colored bag. I think it's so beautiful. Using Jeffree Star made me realize how much I really love mint. So in this bag I keep pretty much, I guess maybe ironically, my Morphe palettes. So if we open this one up, this is the NU Catch the Sun by Morphe. I haven't used this one yet, so I can't tell you how it holds up against the Colourpop palette, but I do have it and I haven't used it yet. We have the NB Call Me Baby, Morphe. Here's that one. This is kind of like Pink Religion 9-pan palette. I haven't used it yet, obviously, so I don't know what the quality is, but I assume it's general, usual Morphe formula, so I'm sure it will be fine. And if I ever need to take the Pink Religion palette anywhere, I think I'd rather just grab this, because Pink Religion is obviously a lot bookish, so it'd be a bit bigger to carry. These are not palettes. These are just collections. Part of the collection, which, by the way, I feel like people forgot that this palette existed. This is the Coca-Cola Cherry Coke palette from Morphe. They just came out with another palette recently called the Heat Seeker. Does this look familiar? And people were like, oh my god, it's boring. It looks like, was it a Too Faced palette? Oof. Let me cover up the mirror for you. I think it's beautiful. It's worked great for me. I love this palette. I took this palette with me to Mexico. Like, there you go, that's better. I took this palette with me to Mexico. I think it's fine. It worked great. I love it. And yes, it is in a, like, tin container. You know what I mean? But it's fine. I love it. Why is there such an issue? Next, we have the Jaclyn Hill Divine Neutrals. I waited so long for this to go on sale because I saw it and I immediately knew that I wanted this. I need to have this handy. So let me turn it around instead. I knew I wanted this neutral palette, and I've used it. I've used it twice so far. Again, I don't have any issues with this formula. This works for me. It's fine. It works wonderfully. I actually used it once, and then I was afraid it was just sitting in my collection, and then I thought I should try using it again and see if I like it still, and if I don't like it, I'll give it away to a friend, but I did like it. It's still fine. I like it. This is the 18S Morphe palette, Sunset Beats. This is the Sunset Beats palette. I honestly recommend, if I'm going a little too slow for you guys, to up the speed on YouTube. You can bring me up to like 1.25 or 1.50 speed. Sometimes I feel like I'm talking too slow, or that my showing is too slow. But yeah, this is the Sunset Beats palette. I liked it. I thought it was beautiful. There's a glitter in here, and this was the first glitter that I never had an issue with. I used the Colourpop glitter in my eye, and that shit really hurt. I used this one, and it was fine. So the Morphe glitter for me worked out. Next we have the Coca-Cola 1971 palette. I think this palette is amazing. I'm so sad that it's dented up here. But I absolutely love how beautiful this is. Morphe 1971. She's gorgeous. It is so hard to find good lighting in this house. It really is. There's no good window or lighting spot. But these are the colors from the Coca-Cola palette. It's all Morphe so far, pretty much. I like this collection. I feel like it has the first set of neutrals that I really liked. I thought these looked beautiful on me. I like the colors on the right side of the pan. They're very much into what I like to wear, because my style is very 1960s, maybe early 1970s, but this time is really my style. I love it. And that concludes everything in my beautiful mint Jeffree star bag. Next, this is the newest bag. It's pretty much sold out already. I haven't seen it being sold again. That might have been your only chance, but I got this one, and this one feels a lot different than the usual ones. Usually you got this faux leather over here. This is plastic. It's plastic, and it's got like seams in it, so I mean, it's waterproof. This is my Kylie Makeup Revolution Glamlite bag. So a lot of these I have not used. I'll pull out the ones you guys will recognize immediately. I just recently bought the Happy Hour collection. I've been eyeing these forever. I think they're beautiful. I keep the little sheet on all of them. I don't like when my mirrors get dirty. So I think you're all familiar. I don't like that sheet. I think you're all familiar with this color story by now. You guys have seen these. I think you guys know by now that they're good. There's definitely a lot of preference, of course, towards the green one, which is I think everyone's favorite. I think everyone's favorite so far has been the green one. Everyone's least favorite has tended to be the purple and the pink palette, and I don't understand, because the pink one's been on sale for a really long time. Meanwhile, the others have not. So the green one I recently just got because it was definitely on sale. You could buy it in a bundle, and the bundle sold out, so I had to buy these individually, but thankfully, like I said, the pink palette and the green palette were on sale. The purple palette and the brown palette were not. Does this not give out Blood Money vibes? Right? Does this not... I saw this, I remember seeing this, and people were freaking out, like, it's beautiful, I love it! I'm like, have you not tried the Blood Money by Jeffree Star? I mean, I guess, to each their own, but you get some beautiful colors in the Jeffree palette. So that's my Happy Hour collection. They're kind of... I only have, right now, 2 Kylie palettes. If you see one of my reviews before, I had the 24K Kylie palette. Girl, that did not work for me. It was way too light. They were so, like, powdery. It was not for me. I found this at a Nordstrom's. I think the thing's not still on it. Yeah, I got it for $15 at Nordstrom's. But I'm glad that I did, because it's pretty. It's cute. It's definitely cute. I gotta show the hearts upside down, sorry, but it's definitely cute. She's cute. I remember really liking this shade. and quite also liking that shade, I believe. This one was really pretty too. One thing about me is I love the shimmer shades. I'm here for the shimmer shades. I don't think I could buy a palette without shimmers. If the shimmers are trash, then I'll give it away, because I don't care about mattes. I'm not here to, you know, I think mattes are very in and have been in for a bit, but I've never cared. I do not care. They are not for me. This is the Kylie Nightmare on Elm Street, and this red is so good. This is the first red that worked so well. Even better than, I think, like the Jeffree palettes. Honestly, this is so pigmented. Super pigmented. And so is this. These little colors right here, they are so pigmented, which I feel like is strange because usually you're getting this deal. And sometimes it's like, can you even see it on my skin? I'm specifically kind of keeping this palette mostly just for like this quad over here. Like, they're so good. They're so pigmented. Those are my two Kylie palettes. Now back to Glamlite. This is the Icy palette. It's my first Glamlite palette that I got, which I also got at, I believe I got it at TJ Maxx. I got this at TJ Maxx. I believe it was either $10 or $7. This one's kind of, like I just said, if the shimmers are not good, I really don't find a point in keeping a palette. So this one had a lot of convincing to do, because I believe that these shimmery shades in here are trash. They're not good. The only good shimmery shade is this one. This one that's called Frosted Cherry. That was the only one that applied correctly. Everything else was just like crumbly and falling off, and it was not a good time. But the mattes, this was the first time where I was surprised by the mattes. The mattes were so good. I was so surprised to find so much pigment and so much lasting power with the mattes. Those are really good. Of course, the Glamlite palette that sold out, the Chucky palette. I hate Chucky. Chucky scares the shit out of me. I do not like him. I had nightmares about this movie when I was a kid. It was not a fun time at all. This is like what's it called? I don't remember what it's called, but it's shifts changing. I was really hoping it'd be like this, just paper, because I wanted to paint over it. I did not want to see his face. He's freaky, and I don't like him. But this is such a beautiful palette. Honestly, I feel like this is what maybe Jeffree's cremated palette should have been. It needed a lot more color. I don't think, for an artistry palette for people who actually do makeup for a living, I feel that makes sense. But for the rest of us to buy that cremated palette with so many grays did not make much sense. But this is a beautiful palette. I have not used it, clearly, but I shall be using it soon. I think I'm going to try and use my palettes by season. That's what I've been kind of doing right now. Like for the past month, I've been trying to, any palette that has green in it, I've been trying to use it. I haven't gone around to all of them, but I will. Next we have this Scooby-Doo Rut-Row Raggy palette that just came out during Halloween. I have not used it yet, but amongst the reviews that I've seen, everyone seems to really like it. They prefer this one over that kind of blue teal one, which I did as well, and I mostly just bought this as an add-on, so I didn't have to pay for shipping and handling. But I do love green, and these look really pretty, but we'll see how the glitter formula works. Well, not glitter, the shimmer. If the shimmer formula is not good, I would have to just give this away, because there has to be similar colors like this in my collection. I really like how this is set up, because this is literally how I wear my makeup. Inner corner, outer corner, inner corner, outer corner, and then of course you can mix everything in and all that. Now we have the Michaela palette, Pot 2. I've had my eye on this. I was hoping it would go on sale because of the BS she keeps giving us. But it did end up going on sale because it's green, not because of her BS. I thought they were going to pull a James Charles, just pull all her crap. I like this palette because it has a lot of shimmers. Shimmer Gale. But a lot of people seem to like the first one, not so much this one. And I don't know if that's because this is a much more concentrated, like, blue, purple, green, golds. And, like, white shimmers. But I really like green. I'm not afraid to use bright colors, so I'm not afraid of these blues. It's a pretty palette. It's a pretty palette, mate. Simpsons Revolution palette. Like I said before, a lot of these, if you've noticed and looked at the pans and how pretty they are, you can totally tell that I have not used these yet. This is the same. I got this at TJ Maxx for $7. Y'all need to check out that TJ Maxx. I don't know what the quality of this is yet. A lot of people talk, I feel like a lot of people talk trash about Makeup Revolution. But as you'll see in a bit, the one little baby palette I have tried was so good. I was so surprised. I wish this was arranged differently, because this is kind of giving Jawbreaker, and it's all over the place, and I'm the kind of person who likes to have similar colors together. I know that probably makes everything seem like a rainbow palette and really boring, but that's just kind of how my brain works at this point. When I was younger, I would definitely mix in blues and greens together, probably do a yellow and the purple eye, an orange and a freaking brown eye or something, I don't know. But, I don't know, teal with pink. But nowadays, I'd like to do similar colors, so I would like all the pinks and the purples and the reds on one side, and anything with like a blue, green on the other, your golds, your nudes, just so it's easier for me to read, and I don't have to think about it. Like, I don't want to really have a palette, if I'm using for every day all the time, it's got to be a little bit more accessible, I think. He's a little baby one. Simpsons Revolution, Treehouse of Horror. I had to pick this one up. Okay, tell me. I don't know what, I haven't used it yet, so I don't know about the quality. But, hold up. Tell me this is not like a baby Chucky palette. It's like the little mini of the Chucky palette. I don't know what the quality is yet because I haven't used it. I don't feel like it's time yet for me. I haven't had an outfit yet where I'm like, I need dark shades. But this is like a little baby Chucky palette. Super cute. This is the Clueless, Dion palette. Again, I got this at TJ Maxx for $5. This is Makeup Revolution. This is the one I have used. Okay, finally something I've used. I did use this. It has no mirror. I'm not a person who has use of the mirrors in these. So I probably saved money. I don't need to save money not put mirrors in these anymore. I think we have enough mirrors. But these worked great. They worked fine. They worked beautifully. I absolutely have nothing bad to say about this. I was very surprised. I was kind of expecting them to be trash, ashy, not pigmented, probably makeup for a beginner, and by that I mean just like, probably like a teenager who doesn't really, I mean, I don't know what I think. I don't think they need something super pigmented, super long lasting. They're learning how to do makeup. I feel like it should be, you know, a bit more, doesn't need that strength. But this is really good. This really surprised me. Alright, the next bag I want to start with is, I believe, this one. This is my Ofra highlighter bag. So much of what's in here is actually a lot of Ofra, so we can just take all that out. This is technically a face palette, but it is my face palette because these three colors, I believe it's called the Empowered palette, which is another Ofra palette, and I pulled it out of those, put it in these. These are magnetic. And then this shade was a single shade. There was a very light pink blush in here that just it was way too light for my skin. That was just not going to work. So I removed that light pink blush, and I put in a yellow eyeshadow. In here is my favorite Jeffree Star palette, the one that started it all, which is the Blood Money palette. I love this palette. This is the palette that made me fall in love with makeup. I haven't even, I have the plastic on it still. I like to try and take care of my things. Unfortunately, this broke pretty soon after, maybe only a month after I had it, it broke. So I have a hairpin in here to make sure that it never fully closes. So I can just open it. these colors here. Beautiful. If you notice, which I think you're going to notice with all of them, I don't have, pretty much every Jeffree Star palette I own has been depanned and different colors have been put in. Can you guess what color was changed in this palette? Can you tell? Well, this shade down here, this is called Private Island. It was actually a brown shade. I'm not very into neutrals. I just started kind of getting into neutrals, but I think neutrals are so boring. They're just not for me. This is the original Put It Back single. The first single JAC ever put out. I removed the other one and put this one in because this color is beautiful. It swatches so well. It looks so beautiful on the eyes, and I really credit that to being what began my interest in makeup, which would be really recently, because I believe this palette launched in November of 2020. I actually ended up getting this palette for myself for my birthday, full price, and I ended up, and I still end up going back to this collection over and over again. I have the bomber jacket, I have the backpacks, I have all the lip glosses, I have the liquid lips, I have the highlighters. I absolutely love this collection. I think it is one of the best, if not the best, honestly, collection he's ever come out with. Next, I'm going to start with my blue bag. And in my blue bag, we have here basically my Colourpop collection. If it's Colourpop, it's probably in here. Let's pull those out. I have some blushes in here as well. Let's start with this that isn't Colourpop. I have this little LA Colors. I don't think people give this enough credit. This brand is like, oh, I can't open it, is in like the dollar store. You can get this for $1, $1.25, depending if yours is already changed. And it's great. It's great quality. This is the makeup that I would use in high school. And I just used this recently. And it still works well. It's all shimmer formula. And I love it because I love shimmer formulas. These work great. I would definitely recommend. Oh, let's pull this one. Also, one of my first palettes. You can tell this one is probably one of my most loved palettes. This is such an amazing palette. Yellow, again, favorite color. Closest I can usually find to yellow stuff is gold. I really like how, this is probably my most unused shade because it's just way too light. Like, I don't know what I would do with it, but great shimmers, great formula. These two are great to darken the outer corners. This is such a good palette. This is the Juvia's Place The Warrior palette. I have the Star Wars Mandalorian palette. My husband got me this one. And my Colourpop palettes are like my Jeffree Star palettes. You are not looking at the original. I definitely move stuff around all the time in a way that makes sense to me. I have stuff from other palettes in this. I try to cater to myself because a lot of the times there's always colors in here that are absolutely unnecessary, and they just they're not like my skin color friendly. They're not going to show up, and it's so awful that every time I get one of these, there's always a color in here I end up not being able to use. My California Love palette. Let's see what's in here, because it's not the original. This is my version. Neutral based. Got some yellows down here. I believe these yellows are from the Honey palette. I had 2 palettes, so I stole some from those, give the other one away, and then kept some of those. I'm pretty sure this color is originally in here, but this is my version. Welcome to my version of Limoncello. I love the packaging. This is such beautiful packaging. It's so pretty. This is my version of limoncello. You can totally tell I took this from that, was it? I think it was the LA Lakers one, which I had specifically just grabbed because of the colors. I love yellow and purple. And of course there's colors in here that weren't, I think this is like from the Tinkerbell palette. There's definitely, obviously move things around, but this is my version. This is my limoncello palette. Here is my Colourpop Lush palette. Of course, my version of it. Which I think I just mostly rearranged the colors in here. But I also don't totally recall what colors were in here or not. But this is my Lush palette. Here is my Good as Gold. I think I just rearranged this. I think all of these are originals. These are just rearranged colors. But these are, I believe, the actual ones that belonged in here. I just like having a scheme that makes sense to me. So I really like that Colourpop has magnetic palettes. Or kid you not, I love this collection and I wish I could have gotten more from it. I think there's a mirror in here. Okay. These colors work so beautifully. I love these colors. They're so deep, they're plummy. I don't think I have any purples like this in my collection at all. These all worked very well. This is Meant to Be. This came in a collection of like 3. I gave the other 2 away, but I kept this one. And again, I think everything in here but 2 are the original colors. I just needed I needed deeper colors. So I think this one may not actually be from this palette, and definitely that one. I removed 2 colors because I just needed at least 2 colors. This one's a little deeper because you have to balance it out, or else I feel like you just looks like you got white on your eyelids, and I really like to do that shading of lightest to darkest. The Honey palette. I wish we could see more yellow palettes. Good yellow palettes. Because I'm going to be honest, I tried the Banana Fetish palette from Jeffree, and just the quality just did not work for my skin tone, maybe my skin type. I wasn't really wowed by the shimmers, and like I said, if the shimmers aren't what I think they should be, there's no point in keeping the palette. Here's Wine and Only. This one was sold to me with the Wild Child palette. I think this is another one where I only rearranged the colors, but I didn't change anything else. I didn't switch them out. I believe these are all the originals. This was sold to me with the Wild Child palette. I think there was some sort of sale where if I got both, it'd be cheaper. And obviously, this is giving, what is it called? The Staryak Ranch mini palette from Jeffree. I got browns and I got my blues. Just missing a green in here, but you could pretty much dupe it if you didn't have the other one. But I just needed something else. It has really beautiful deep browns in here. But I just needed a little bit of a pop of color for those moments when I'm just like, well, it's all dark browns. Gotta add a little color. Next, we'll go with my black bag, and in here I have more Morphe and Jeffree Star, I believe. Like I said, I like to keep packaging. This is from the Peace Out Poppy Road Tripper Trixie Cosmetics collection. I just like to keep the boxes. I have a review of that on my channel as well. I also have the brushes here unused because they're beautiful and I don't want to use them yet. But I have, this was on sale. It was the Morphe Lucky Charms palette. So pretty. Just very colorful. Just basically like a rainbow palette. Rainbow with gold. and a slight focus on some greens. Here's my beauty killer. I think this is, I'm not sure if this is sold anymore. I have not used it. I'm waiting to use it to see if I like it. True story, I tried to depan it, as you can see here. It's all crinkled up right here. I could not depan it without really destroying either the pan or the shade. So I kind of ended up giving up because there's colors in here like this and this. I'm like, those are so boring to me. I'm like, can we get rid of them? I was going to remove some of these shades and replace it with, because I also have Beauty Killer 2. I was like, well, just keep the shades that I like, put all the shades I don't like in another palette, and then just give that palette away. But this is next on my list to use. I really want to know the consistency of the formula, because not every palette of his is the same. There's definitely palettes like that awful Thirsty palette I kept getting over and over again. That was just not good quality, is not his good usual quality. Here's Beauty Killer 2. Again, these are, I think, the next two on my list after I finish with the Morphe palette that I'm currently using. This one is next. And I mean, I'll keep them if I think the formula is good, but I also have to be realistic with, but is this a palette I'm going to think about when I have a certain outfit and pull it out to use it? Because that's important too. She's thick. This is one that's a lot thicker than the one before it. Sour Patch! This was actually a really cute collection. I have the setting spray that goes with this one. Oh, this one doesn't have a mirror. Perfect. Look how pretty. So you got your kind of rainbow colors up here on top, but then beautiful colors down here. It looks like I specifically wanted to use this color because this color is used. But other than that, ooh, so pretty. Next, we have my fancy palettes. These are probably the more, if not the most expensive of all my palettes. We have, this is new. This just came out last Halloween. Zombified by Jolie Beauty. The colors in here are super neon, which I saw the reveal of the new Jeffree Star palette that's going to be coming out soon. And I think some people were bummed because they were hoping for a neon palette like this. If you are looking for a neon palette, so far, which you'll see in a bit, I have tried two other Jolie Beauty. This is an indie brand from England. I've tried two of their other palettes and they are really good. So they're really cool. Check them out. There's duochromes in here. I think these, oh, this one, maybe that one. I think there's 3 duochromes in here. This is going to be a really fun spring palette. I also have Vampirism by Jolie Beauty. You can totally tell when these palettes are used and loved. This one was so surprisingly fun to use. I remember using this and being like, I can't wait to use this again. I can't wait for the next color. These are such good colors. I think Bitten was probably my favorite from what I remember. It just has, again, I think these 3 are duochromes. And then it comes with 2 glitters. And for me, the glitters did not bother me at all. I have the Naked Urban Decay Honey. This is one of the palettes that you just kind of... It's one of the good palettes, right? I feel like everyone knows about this palette. I think it performed okay. I want to try this again, because I don't remember being like, wow, this is amazing, this was worth $50. It does not feel worth $50, which thankfully I got this on sale for $25, but I don't remember it feeling like this was even worth $25. I definitely want to try this palette again and see if I end up keeping it. Okay, y'all. don't roast me. This is a very, very old Morphe palette. This palette is from 2015. 2015 is when I got it. I don't even know if it's older than that. This is the 35U palette from Morphe. They don't even make this palette anymore. I don't even think there's like a reference to it much. You can look up 35U Morphe. I think it comes out as having come out in like 2015, 2016 or something. But this is so old, you guys. Look at the box. But this was probably I think the first high-end palette, so I thought at the time, that I ever got. Like a palette that wasn't worth like $5. Unfortunately, I dropped it, so I messed up my purple, but these colors still work very well. This is another Radiance Jolly Beauty palette. Another Jolly Beauty palette. This is such a good autumn fall palette. I really like this shade. This shade's like a flaky gold, which I know may not be for some people, but I really like that. I think it has such a cool effect on the eye. This is the Viseart San Francisco little baby mini palette. It's so cute. I specifically just bought it because it has the San Francisco skyline on it. It reminds me of home, and I miss home all the time, so I had to get this. I don't even know if the brand's good or not. I just love San Francisco. And look at this little baby. She's so tiny. I don't know what about this says San Francisco. The colors, you can remove them. They're metallic. But yeah, it's cute. We have the Alter Ego Canyon palette. I learned that I believe this is a dupe for a Natasha Denona palette. I have not used this yet, so I can't speak on it. I don't know if it's a good dupe or not, or if it's even good formula. But I have tried the liquid lipsticks, and I can definitely say that the liquid lipsticks are a really good liquid lip. And we have the Natasha Denona Zendo palette. Our color story to some of the same palettes I had, but just obviously different quality formula because this is Natasha Denona. But these colors, these like peaches, these shades of green and blue are very retro looking. Kind of reminds me of the new, there's a Beauty Bay palette. It's like Retro Love, I think it's called. This kind of gives off the same vibes. I haven't been able to buy the other one yet though, because I'm waiting for that to go on sale. But same vibes. I got the big one, my most expensive one, the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. Not get the dupe for this, but this quality is definitely extraordinary. Don't know if it was worth the, what is it, $129. But this is the first formula that I used where there was absolutely like zero fallout. As you can see, I rearranged mine to make sense to me. I have these, is it the matte browns on the top. I have my shimmery golds and bronzes and browns in the next row. I have some red leaning, orange leaning, my darker browns, and then just basically my green and blue leaning colors on the bottom. Completely rearranged the palette just to make sense for me. But wait, there is still more. I have makeup in boxes that I like to keep. This is, let's see, I have the Blood Sugar Mini, but it's my Blood Sugar Mini. So it's not the one that looks like yours. Can you tell what colors do not belong in this palette? Because this Shane Dawson Trisha color that I put in here definitely doesn't. Like I said, I moved some stuff around. This might be from the Orgy Mini, honestly. Like, I don't even remember at this point some of these. But this is my mini Blood Sugar. I've turned on the light, so hopefully that kind of helps things and doesn't create too much shadow. But here I have, this is huge. This probably might be the biggest palette I have. This is the Money Shot P.Louise palette. But of course, like I've said before, this is my P.Louise Money Shot palette. So it's not going to look like yours. So let's pull this one out first. Several of these things don't belong here. So I originally had that P.Louise, it was like a chessboard, I don't remember the name of it, but that's where you see these purples and the pink, and there's that top yellow, the second top all the way to the right. That was from those palettes. If anything, I think all of these are, but you can definitely tell because they got broken when I try to depan them. The quality of the P.Louise shadows are fine. I wouldn't say they're the best, I wouldn't say the worst. They definitely work. They did what they're supposed to do, but it was what I expected. But you get so much of it. This is heavy. This is bulky. This is something that you keep, like, on your dresser. But look at all those greens. So I kept the colors, my favorite shimmery colors from that chessboard palette. Put them in here. Put what I felt were like duplicates from this palette into that one. And then gave the other one away to my cousin. Next we have the Dark Fantasy Beauty Bay palette. This, I believe, is still on sale. It's currently on sale. I bought this on sale. I think it's beautiful. I love it. I don't know why. I don't think it was maybe marketed right. Because the Beauty Bay formula is surprisingly, not surprisingly, it's really good. For, like, the, you know, website brand to be making their own, for beautybay.com to be making Beauty Bay palettes. I haven't had any issues with the Beauty Bay formula yet. Here's another Beauty Bay palette. This is the Earthy palette. I freaking love green eyeshadow. I love green eyeshadow. This is the Earthy palette, but this is my Earthy palette. There were colors that I took from, I think it was the Fiery palette. You'll see these, like you can see the glue. You can still see the glue there of colors that I removed. Oh god, it's so freaking good. I remember this one being really good. I pretty much used every single color in this palette. I think this one looks like the only one I didn't get to use before I ended up putting it away. But this was a really fun palette. Beautiful, beautiful. Everything just went on so well. I literally just got this one this week. I was so, you'll see when I show you this one, but so surprised with this formula. So absolutely surprised. And I'm hoping, I haven't used it yet because I just got it literally like 2 days ago. This is essentially, this is a rainbow palette, but I loved the quality of the Carnival Antidote palette, and I was like, I need to try this in some other form. And for whatever reason, these columns of shades got me, because it reminded me of the Jeffree Star cremated palette. I feel like this, wouldn't have this been a cute mini? I felt like these were the colors that is in the cremated palette, and I love the cremated palette. It's probably my number 2 palette of Jeffree's. So to see like this, all this rainbow and then the gray, it spoke to me. And here we have the Carnival Antidote palette. I think some people, probably a lot of people, find palettes like this super overwhelming, and I know it can be, but I think you're missing out on some great formula. So you got your greens over here and your oranges and browns over here. It's such a really pretty fall palette. The formula on this was so amazing. I loved it. I was so taken back. I was so surprised. I think from what I remember, this one worked really well. Oh, Venom. Venom was really nice too. I think Grunge. I did a really cool look with Grunge as well. Which has been for the past year on sale. So if there was a BPerfect palette I would recommend, I'd check this one out first. Alright, we're coming up next to my Juvia's palette. Wait, Juvia's Place. The Violets. This would do a great Easter look with these. Then we have the Berries by Juvia's. I did one of my friend's wedding. I did her wedding makeup with this palette. She just wanted something bright and deep. Her wedding dress was pink, so of course we had to pull this one out. The quality of Juvia's is pretty decent. I think well, so far they're 50-50. I guess it's a hit or a miss. I've tried 3 of other palettes before, and those did not work for me, and they just did not have... the shadows are so hard for me to use. I ended up giving it away. And it's been a while since I've seen anything of Juvia's that actually, like, excited me. But overall, I mean, it's a decent... I think they're a pretty decent band. 3 for 3 right now. And then I have the Morphe James Charles palette. I've not used it. I kind of just have it. I think we all know what this looks like. This is the mini palette. She's tiny. I bought it back a few years ago. I still haven't used it. So we'll see what ends up happening to this. So here we have my minis. But these are my minis. So of course, they're not the mini that you have. This is a mini controversy. This is the one that has the green shade in it. But I actually ended up pulling that green shade out. And this is now what my mini controversy looks like. It's got browns, it's got some light silvers, it's got some golds. This makes a lot more sense to me. Next we have Star Ranch. I think this one pretty much is... Oh, no it's not. I absolutely lied. This is what my Star Ranch looks like. Which again, like I told you guys, it looks like my Wild Child. You got your dark deep browns and you got your blues. We have Weirdo, but my Weirdo. As you can see, I've grabbed this one from the original mini controversy that didn't have the green, I believe. And then I think this is actually Frozen Fire from the Orgy mini palette. I think the rest of them are originals. What do you guys think of my little mini palettes? Because they're completely not what... This is coming out white. This is silver. This razor blade one is insane. That one is crazy. We have my mini breaker. My mini breaker, from what I remember, is purple and orange. That's the theme of this one. That purple and orange. Alright y'all, we're at the end. I got 2 more boxes and then I'm done. We have Star Wedding palette, which if you watch some of my other videos, you would have seen me open this up. I got this in a Beautylish surprise bag. Yet to use it. Still waiting to use it. From what I hear, formula in this is really good. We have the Conspiracy palette, no longer sold. I'm not seeing these even in the stores anymore. But this is my Conspiracy palette. So let's see what I did to it. Completely different. Got some nice dark browns on top. We have these light pink colors in the middle, and the bottom row is got some pale blues, dark blues. What do you guys think of my Conspiracy palette I made myself? This is my Pink Religion. I took the shades from the purple palette and I put them in here. I like this pink one a lot more than I did his purple one. I feel like there were more shades in this pink palette than there were in the purple palette that I could use. So I removed some, like this one this one obviously, that's not part of that. Nor is this one, or this one, or this one. I think you have this shade that's also part of the, is it Royal Blood palette? But this one's mine. I feel like I like mine a lot more. And here we have found more Morphe palettes. This came out, I think, last Christmas. I just really liked, I like the way it was set up, and then it comes with this like little sheet that tries to tell you how to use these colors. And then just, it makes sense. This is one of those palettes that makes sense to me. Like, you go down, you're like, you got your yellow neutral, your pink to red leaning, your more bronzy leaning, your purples, your darker plums. You got this, like, I don't even know, like gray, blue, like periwinkle. This is the Morphe 35R Ready Set Gold. I don't think they sell this anymore. I feel like this one was really popular for a good time. So you have 3 rows of shimmers, and then you have 4 rows or dark browns. Which, when you have darker skin, this is really helpful. I know it feels like it's not. There's definitely some colors in here. I don't know if we needed, we could have probably gotten rid of 2 of these rows, right? I mean, these 2 look almost the same. These 2 kind of look the same. I think that's something that some people have issue with, but I like this palette. I like this gold palette. Next we have Fierce by Nature. This is the 3503. I think I've used this one. I think I've actually used this one. I did. Another fall palette. Okay, we are finally at the last box. This is the last of the makeup. Well, of big eyeshadows that I own. Here we have Blue Blood. My Blue Blood's gonna look different than your Blue Blood. This is a true Blue Blood. Everything in this palette is blue, inspired, blue colored. I've only used this one once, and sometimes I see palettes with blue in it, and I'm like, that's so pretty, I want it. But then I have to remind myself, when was the last time I used my Blue Blood palette? And then that kind of helps me stop from buying another blue palette. We have the Pricked palette here. My handle still works. I haven't used it yet. You guys see a theme here of really pretty fall palettes? I have so many orange palettes, I feel, right? Is that the conclusion we're coming to? I have way too many fall palettes and spring and summer palettes. I don't know, I think I have a good variety. Do I have a good variety? Next, the infamous Jawbreaker palette. My Jawbreaker palette will not look like your Jawbreaker palette, but I think it still mostly does. It might be a little bit more colorful than maybe it originally was. But I've pulled out this palette for very specific colors. And I even used it for, again, I even used this palette for my friend's wedding as well. Of course, lastly, I guess this must be my last one. My version of Cremated. My version of Cremated has not mini, I think just controversy colors in here. But actually, no, what? I have conspiracy and mini controversy colors in here. Because I have a Put Me Back color. This is the Flaming Hot Cheetos color. This is also, I think, from the Conspiracy palette. And then this whole thing right here, I think those are from the mini controversy. These are stunning. These are beautiful. I've traveled with this one before. This is probably my second favorite Jeffree Star palette that I have. Thank you for joining me today. I just wanted to share with everyone my collection. Is there anything that from my collection that you really loved and are thinking about buying now? Did something surprise you? How do you guys feel about my depanning, depotting, my, specifically even like Jeffree Star, my Colourpop, and then creating my own versions? Just wanted to share with everyone. Thank you so much. Have a great day.